It's Wednesday, the 24th of July, and for the past 3 months after Easter, it has been very busy every Wednesday because LegCo has been meeting basically every Wednesday. And
pretty much.
Most of the meetings were overrun to Thursday.
Yes.
And finally, they have the summer break. So today we have a more relaxed Wednesday. So do you want to take a break today, or you have something to share with us today? Or we can close the show now. What do you think?
No. There's always something to talk about in politics.
Go ahead.
Especially in an exciting place like Hong Kong.
All right.
One of the things that I want to talk about is the rise of campaigns in Hong Kong.
All right.
Every time somebody asks me, what is the biggest change?
Well, campaign with S. Basically, they're campaigns.
Yeah.
Many campaigns now.
It is the rise of campaigns in Hong Kong. When people ask me, what is the biggest change you've noticed in Hong Kong since the handover, I always say the rise of civil society. People are becoming more engaged, and as that happens, they're getting more organized. And that means their campaigns are starting to take on a different quality and a different flavor, and ideally becoming more effective.
Well, give me some examples.
Okay, some of the examples, you've got your really basic grassroots campaigns. And one of the ones that we're watching now is related to St. Stephen's becoming a DSS school.
Yes. And then it spreads to St. Paul's.
Yeah, and St. Paul's is looking at it now. And this is really interesting. This is student and alumni.
Yeah.
Which, you rarely see student and alumni being aligned on issues related to educational institutions because they have such different interests. Students are in the here and now.
Yeah.
Younger,
and the parents, too.
And the parents as well, right? The here and now, more idealistic. And the alumni tend to be a little bit farther seeing, they have a broader perspective. And so rarely are they aligned on the same issues. Usually you see radical students doing something crazy and the alumni are going, harumph. We never would have done that in our day. They probably would have. But this one we're seeing concerns about access to quality education for people that are not in the higher income brackets. And this is a concern that people had. I think a lot of the alumni appreciated the fact that when they were there, a lot of them came from lower income groups. And now they're asking, are people like me not being able to get that education?
One point that I would like to mention is that last month, I think the Secretary for Education, Hakim, he said that the percentage of DSS, direct subsidy school, are not that high. Basically, you have roughly 10% of the school are DSS.
Yeah.
But if you try to listen to that again, actually, every 10 schools in Hong Kong, one is DSS is actually a very high percentage.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, it is what it is in terms of the numbers, but I think what really draws people attention to it is a lot of the highest quality schools.
Yeah.
And they're the highest quality schools that have been accessible to lower income students. And in the last, I'd say 15 to 20 years, one of the biggest trends in international political thinking has been this idea of inequality.
Yeah.
And it's landed in Hong Kong, it's landed in education, and it used to be that these schools were considered accessible to lower income people, giving them a leg up. But is that changing? That's the question.
But that I would I'd really like to talk to Andrew, because you embrace free market economy.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think when the government tries to launch the DSS, they basically try to model after the concept of Milton Friedman. Of handling the money to school directly, and then have a market-driven education system.
Yeah.
And right now it's heading towards direction, I would say. But on the other hand, if you go to that direction, then you create inequality. Just like most of the capitalism economy, you will create some sort of discrepancy between the rich and the poor.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you still have 90% of the school are subsidized schools. So what's your give and take on that?
Well,
would you like to go for free market education but create some sort of unfairness, or would you still go for subsidized school trying to reform but never be able to succeed?
Well, I think what's interesting about this is that there are free market forces coming to bear on this issue. When the alumni step up, that's the market speaking, because they are contributors to the school.
They are loyal customers.
They are loyal customers.
They are loyal customers.
And they are expressing their preference, right? Which is what free markets are all about, is people expressing their preferences.
Yeah.
And in this case, they are expressing their preference for a school that provides access for more people to be able to get in. And they have a problem with the fact that a lot of the DSS schools haven't used their scholarships to actually bring in students from the lower income, who could be very intelligent, very capable, the kind of students they want to see.
But I think education is a total package, right? You does not only offer teaching surface so that you have high grades.
Yeah.
But a lot of the students and alumni and parents also love the environment. And also the teaching atmosphere.
Sure.
And also the culture of competition of different schools are different. It's kind of like you like some restaurant, not only because of the menu, but also you also like the waiter, you also like the locations, you also like the atmosphere, you like the band.
Yeah.
And I think education is very similar to that. You love that school because not only that school offer you good grades, or not only that school offer you good alumni network, but it offers you a lot of comprehensive, a whole comprehensive education.
Comprehensive education. And I think this is where the alumni have a role to play. Is they've got to step in and say, if we're going to continue to support this school, it should reflect our preferences.
Yes.
And our preference is that we have a diverse student body and that you use the scholarships that we are helping to fund, that you make them effective and you bring in the kind of students that we want to see.
Well, we talk possibly too much on DSS. You said campaigns. So what are the other campaigns?
Well, that's a really grassroots. There's two other. There's really professional, there's really grassroots, and some that are in between. And I'll talk about one of the in-between ones, and maybe Thursday or Friday we can talk about a real professional one.
Yeah.
One of the ones that's kind of an in-between is the campaigns against stamp duty. And I mean, this is really getting momentum. It's going to be one to watch over the summer. We've got, kind of District Councillor Raymond Ho seems to be leading the charge. He's getting a lot of support, in particular from the people in the real estate agencies, because this is, their business is really in big trouble if the government shuts down the real estate market. But then they're also getting support from a lot of other people that are affected by this, like people that are homeowners, people that are aspiring home buyers, and then all the other kind of people that are affected, like associations of interior decorators have joined on board with their campaign. They've been very astute in going out and figuring out who has a stake in this issue and bringing them on board. And they had their big rally about a week and a half ago, and they continue to build. And I think that's going to be one to watch over the summer because it's
Well, I think the word of today, originally I was thinking campaign, maybe the word for today. But you just remind me of a lot of these campaigns has its roots of uncertain preferences of the government. So I think I would say today preference is the key word. Because if the government communicate clearly what the preferences are, then they can solve a lot of campaigns, or they can dissolve a lot of campaigns. But right now, I think a lot of the students, parents, alumni, real estate agency, home buyers, they just didn't know, or they just didn't get what are the preferences of the government, so that they have to go to the street and ask the government, tell me about your preferences. I mean, if you set your preferences right, then they don't need to complain. I think that's that's what my take on a lot of new campaigns right now in Hong Kong. So I think the keyword for today is preference.